welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin by talking about today's Supreme Court judgment on Adani, which effectively says that it cannot enter into the case. The Supreme Court says the SEBI is competent to look into the matter, and the Supreme Court also further makes a few very interesting observations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court was asked to get into the Adani case and almost overrule what the Securities and Exchange Board of India was looking at in terms of its own regulatory domain. You see, there is this whole Adani controversy, and the argument was made that Adani has violated this and Adani has violated that and must be penalized this and that, and there's a big scam. And the fact of the matter is, everyone's looked at this whole matter in detail. The SEBI has found absolutely nothing. And the SEBI has found nothing. People are now complaining about SEBI and going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has found nothing. There's a Supreme Court monitored committee into the case. That has found nothing. Nobody's found anything in the Adani case. And the Supreme Court says, effectively, that please spare us the responsibility of getting into a matter which is in the regulatory domain of the Securities and Exchange Board of India. And the Supreme Court is saying we cannot put our own wisdom over the regulatory process of SEBI. What the Supreme Court is basically saying, respect the institutional structures in this country. You see, when the ED and CBI investigate someone, these same people go to the Supreme Court and say, overrule the ED, overrule the CBI. And the Supreme Court said recently, how can we do that? There is an appropriate process for that. How can we do that? Why should we do that? Simply because you feel that the investigation against you for corruption is malicious, you want us to overrule, that's not going to happen. SEBI finds nothing wrong in the Adani case. You want us to overrule SEBI, that's not going to happen. And the Supreme Court is absolutely correct, ladies and gentlemen. You can't go around throwing a fishnet and saying, oh, well, we made a big deal of Adani. How can we end up looking like fools? That's what the lobbies say. You see, the Congi, the Lutyens, the pseudo-lobby, what did they do in the Adani case? They thought it's a clear way to attack the Modi government. So they made up through the sponsorship of this evil man called Soros, this whole large argument that Hindenburg was the truth. There was this big scam, and Hindenburg should get the Nobel Prize of Economics and not be seen to be a corrupt short seller, which it is. And because they've created this hype, what in Hindi is called hawa, over the Adani scam, how can they be wrong? Well, the fact of the matter is, experts, known experts, people with institutional experience, years, decades of financial understanding have investigated the whole matter and found nothing wrong in the Adani case. How can it be, viewers, that just because a bunch of political parties and some vested interests made a big deal of something, that it becomes the obligation of the Supreme Court to say that they were correct? How can anyone expect that? Fact of the matter is, nothing has been found in the Adani case. Like nothing was found in the Rafale case. Nothing was found in the judge case. Nothing was found in the argument, ladies and gentlemen, at any point of time. Nothing was ever found to be wrong in any of these cases. And just because the lobby makes a big deal of something doesn't mean that they are right. And we need to introspect now. So many cases on which there is so much hype created, in which there are such loud and vocal demands, in which there is an obvious foreign angle, in which their clear political interests are seen to be, found to be, after due investigation, without any substance. And if there is any sense of reason, justice, and rationality in this world, then the people who made a big noise about that should be coming on television and apologizing and saying to you that, yes, we lied in the Adani case. We lied in the Rafale case. We lied in the Hindenburg case. We were frustrated that we are out of power, that there's no chance of us coming back to power as long as Modi is the Prime Minister. And hence, we needed to create a negativity about something. And along with foreign players, we created this hype, used a bit of social media traction, pumped in some money into the social media feeds, and thought that we could vitiate the atmosphere of this country and destroy the economy of this country. Well, the economy of this country is only growing stronger. The Supreme Court has called out the lies. And it is time that you and I bring these people to task on the basis of the facts we have and what has been found on why they lied in the Adani case. Debate number 1 tonight, viewers, the Supreme Court dismissing all the appeals to get into the Hindenburg Adani case. And the whole narrative of the lobby has come out completely crumbling. And that's debate number 1 tonight. We must debate it. Unbelievable. We got Mukul Rohatgi on that as well. Tonight, under the lens for Liquorgate, Arvind Kejriwal, third time says, I will not appear before the Enforcement Directorate. Hemant Soren says, 7th time I will not appear before the Enforcement Directorate. What's going on here? Debate number 3 tonight. As the Congress tries to fearmonger with a Godhra remark ahead of the Ram Mandir inauguration. That's debate number 3. And here are the headlines this Wednesday evening on the debate tonight. The lobby narrative completely crumbles as the Supreme Court calls for an investigation into the malafide intentions of Hindenburg. Despite the verdict, INDI continues on the Adani rant, says the top court is extraordinarily generous to the SEBI. Congress attacks the Supreme Court. Vadra Congress hypocrisy on Adani exposed. Jairam slams. Revant welcomes the Adani delegation in Telangana. Open defiance as Kejriwal skips a summons for the third time now, calls them illegal and invalid. After the arrest of Car Sevaks, India Alliance leader now fearmongers with another Godhra possible remark. And in Thrissur, Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a mega roadshow, hits out at the left in Congress in an unrelenting attack. Big story tonight. The Supreme Court today collectively quashed a batch of pleas seeking an SIT investigation into the Adani Hindenburg case. The report by the US-based firm Hindenburg was used by the opposition, you'll remember, to attack the Modi government. The verdict of the apex court today was not welcomed by the opposition, with the Congress being the most vocal about it. Another case, another loss. Will they now change their strategy? Let's debate.
अदानी 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 पूरा देश एक आवाज से हम दो हमारे दो के खिलाफ उठने जा रहा है।
70 साल में इस देश की पूंजी बनी थी, प्रधानमंत्री ने सब कुछ बेच दिया।
Modi linked Adani family secretly invested in own shares, documents suggest.
Rahul Gandhi led the charge against the government over Adani. Other opposition leaders made Adani the focus for months on end.
हमारा डिमांड यही है, चर्चा करा और हमारी मांग यह है कि या तो जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी बनाओ और इसकी इंक्वायरी करो, या नहीं है तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस के नेतृत्व में कमेटी बनाकर इसको इंक्वायरी कराई है।
ये अडानी का मामला नहीं है, ये मोडानी का मामला है। प्रधानमंत्री और अडानी के बीच में क्या रिश्ता है, ये असली मुद्दा है।
The Adani attack, the opposition felt, was a hammer blow to the government. Their calculations seem to have fallen short. It's now turned out to be a big dud. A 3-judge Supreme Court bench headed by the Chief Justice of India has said that there are no grounds for an SIT probe in the Adani case.
Judgment has taken a view there is no conflict of interest, and I think that settles the issue. And therefore, irrespective of what people may say, today there is a judgment of the Supreme Court till it is, assuming it is sought to be reviewed, unless a different view is taken and reviewed, today it is the settled position, and it is not only an interpretation, it is a conclusive finding on the various issues that were raised, including conflict of interest.
The opposition clearly is unhappy with the Supreme Court order. The Congress and CPM are even questioning the order.
Supreme Court came down heavily on George Soros-backed OCCRP and Western media propaganda articles saying that they cannot be conclusive proof to doubt SEBI's probe. But despite that, opposition members would largely prefer to side with George Soros-backed organizations, knowing fully well that it was George Soros who's largely known for bringing in economic and political turbulence.
The INDI alliance continues on the Adani rant despite the verdict from the apex court. Even as their narrative falls apart, the bloc has shown its displeasure with the Supreme Court verdict on their big idea to take on the government. Another case, another loss. Will they now change their strategy? Let's debate.
On the big Adani verdict of the Supreme Court, I'm joined by top legal eagle, Supreme Court senior advocate, former Attorney General. We have with us Mr. Mukul Rohatgi. Good evening, sir. You know, this Adani verdict today is already the subject of a political conversation. In a sense, the court has reposed its faith, Mr. Rohatgi, in the SEBI. Now, does this amount to an exoneration of the Adani group completely in your view?
I think it does, because Adani group has been saying from the beginning that it has not conducted any dubious transactions or any malfeasance or misfeasance on their behalf. The Supreme Court has upheld the integrity of SEBI. It has upheld the integrity of the committee appointed by the Supreme Court, headed by a retired judge. It has also commented adversely on petitions being filed based on third-party reports which are not verified and which cannot be called evidence. And it has also rejected a transfer of investigation from SEBI to any criminal body like a CBI, etc. So according to me, on all fronts, the Supreme Court has refused to entertain any plea raised by the writ petitioners.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, SEBI is also going to investigate, who made the money due to the short selling after the Hindenburg report. So that also should be a focus, shouldn't it? Because the Adani group lost a lot of value in this period. It lost
Absolutely.
over 40, 50, 60 billion
Arnab,
dollars
you are right.
in value in that short period. So what happens there?
Yeah, but see, Arnab, you are absolutely right. I have been saying on different channels that the focus should not only be on Adani as a group. The real focus should be on the shareholders, including the small stakeholders who have invested their life savings in the Adani companies. It is they who have suffered. I mean, Mr. Adani may have suffered loss of reputation, etc., etc. But the real suffering is by the man who feels the pinch. They have lost money because a professional organization whose avowed object is to do short selling, create upheaval in the market and make money, has got away with this. And therefore, we have to wipe a tear from every eye to see that those people who have suffered, there should be some recompense to them. How will that recompense come? The recompense can only come, as you rightly say, by finding out who were the people who made these windfall profits. If they are available in India or are within the reach of the law in India, then certainly the law must go after them, because these are unjustified windfall profits. They are tainted with illegality.
That's very, very important, because there has to be some justice at some point. Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, thank you very much for speaking to me and consistently maintaining your stand on this Adani issue, which has been proven to be completely correct. Mukul Rohatgi, it's a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ajay Dua is with us tonight and Ishkaran Bhandari is with us tonight. Advocate P.R. Ramesh is live from Mumbai tonight. Advocate Sumit Agarwal, partner of Rex Street Law Advisors, former SEBI, is with us tonight. Abhishek Sudhir, Vivek Srivastav and Vivek Silas, all of whom have made big noises about this Adani case, are with us tonight. And I think the first point to note is that it was said to me, Vivek Srivastav and Vivek Silas, you said to me, all of you said to me, that if the Supreme Court of India gives Adani a clean chit, then we will be quiet and accept it. If the Supreme Court and SEBI cannot find anything against Adani, we will accept it. We will not accept a clean chit from the government of India. This clean chit is by the Supreme Court upholding SEBI. So the Supreme Court and SEBI jointly have found nothing wrong, either in terms of process or finding. In other words, everything that you people claimed about an Adani scam was an outright, dirty, dangerous, malicious, pathetic and despicable lie. And having proved to be liars of this extraordinary level of audacity, having been proved to be audacious liars, would you please begin with an apology?
No. I don't have to agree with Mr. Mukul Rohatgi. If he is saying the court has given Mr. Adani a clean chit, I don't think so. It is just said that let the probe go on by SEBI instead of a SIT. That is the only thing that the court is talking of. They have not called off the probe. They have not given a clean chit. They are simply saying that no, it's a government body, SEBI, and let it go on. So that is about it. It doesn't mean that the scam did not happen, or if it happened, and secondly, SEBI has
that's not the case. Let's get P.R. Ramesh. No, that's not the case. I'm getting P.R. Ramesh immediately. That's not the case. Vivek, be a little brief tonight. I'm getting P.R. Ramesh. P.R. Ramesh, is that your reading of the situation?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. P.R. Ramesh, can you hear me, sir? Okay, let me take that to Sumit Agarwal. Sumit, is that your reading of the situation? That this is no clean chit?
Arnab, I do not agree with this statement that Supreme Court upholds or Supreme Court even gives an indication that there is any kind of a scam being done by Adani Group. In fact, the judgment is quite the opposite. The judgment very, very clearly says that there has been no allegation substantiated whatsoever, directly or indirectly, to say that any kind of irregularity has been done by SEBI so far in 22 out of 24 investigations. This is a case which is a classic case where some people had questioned not only the Adani Group but also the capital market regulator SEBI. Now, in this judgment, Supreme Court has upheld the credibility of the process of SEBI, integrity of SEBI, as well as the regulations which were being called into question. So I do not agree with this, that Adani Group's scam has been upheld or there is any kind of a reading of that from the Supreme Court judgment.
So this matter has therefore been dealt with at two levels. Let me get Abhishek and P.R. Ramesh both into the debate. Mr. P.R. Ramesh, can you hear me now, sir? Now, this matter has been dealt with at two levels. One, has the SEBI found anything against Adani? The answer, Ishkaran Bhandari, is no.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Not at all so far. Not at all so far.
24 investigations have been completed.
And what, may I ask you, okay, in 22 of the 24 investigations which have been completed, has anything been found? No, Abhishek. In 22 of the 24 investigations into the Adani Group which have been carried out, has there anything wrong been found? Say no.
Absolutely not.
So good. Thank you very much.
It's not a clean chit.
No, so one.
It's not a clean chit.
So 22 divided by 25 into 4 is 88% of the investigations are done.
But the Supreme
And in
Court has not
88%,
adjudicated on them.
88% of the investigations so far,
How can the Supreme Court-
nothing has been found.
There's no clean
Nothing
sheet.
has been found.
There is no
Say
clean
nothing
sheet.
has been found.
There is no clean
Say we
sheet.
lied.
You have let me
Say we
speak.
made it up.
You have
Say
let
we
me speak.
wanted an angle against Narendra Modi.
Arnab.
We thought the Adani scam would bring the country down, and that's not happened. Ishkaran. Look at the
simply there's
expressions
no-
on their
Arnab, there's no
faces
clean
tonight.
sheet.
Let's look at the expression.
All
They don't
this-
believe
the
what's
Supreme
happening.
Court has given
They don't
SEBI a
believe
clean
what's
sheet.
happening. Ishkaran on the
They've
debate.
given
Ishkaran.
SEBI a clean sheet. The
Arnab,
Supreme Court has
it's-
given
it's my
SEBI a
turn now,
clean
let me
sheet
speak,
and said
Arnab.
SEBI can
Arnab, it's my
continue their
turn, can I speak?
investigations.
Arnab, once my
All
name
that's
has
happened.
been called out,
Qualified
let
on
me
this.
speak
That's
now.
all that's happened.
Ishkaran.
Arnab, at least today they shouldn't be heckling. At least today they should introspect. At least today they should feel some shame that they keep making baseless allegation after baseless allegations which get thrashed in the Supreme Court. And some of Arnab, your journalistic friends, I might use the word
Why
friends
do you hold
loosely,
do you hold
are
the
now
brief
saying
for
why go to
Adani?
Supreme Court?
Are you on
Supreme Court,
Adani's payroll?
Why go to
Are you
Supreme
on
Court? Why
Adani's
expect...
payroll? Why do you
One
understand?
second,
Why
Arnab,
are
I'm
these
not even
people
talking
defending
about this
Adani?
person.
What
Can I
is-
speak?
The BJP is
Arnab,
not
can I
defending
complete my
Adani.
point? It's important to
The
set the
BJP
record
is not
straight.
defending Adani.
It's important
The
to set
BJP
the
is not on
point
this
straight.
debate. Why not?
Arre, forget
Where is the
BJP.
BJP?
The Supreme
Where is
Court
the
has passed a
BJP is not
detailed
defending
judgment. We
Adani.
need
Why
to
are you
discuss
defending
that.
Adani?
And Supreme Court has passed
Are
a
you on
detailed
Adani's
judgment.
payroll?
We need to discuss
Are you on
that.
Adani's payroll?
We need to make the point. So firstly,
Let's discuss the
to
judgment.
discuss the
There is
Supreme
no
Court,
clean sheet.
Arnab, we need
They
to...
have not
Arnab,
given
can I make my
SEBI
point?
they
I'm
have
not in
not
the
said
studio.
SEBI's
This person can keep
investigation.
heckling. If you
They've
want him
only
to heckle,
said
he can
SEBI
keep
can
going
continue
on.
the
Otherwise, I need to
investigation.
make my point. You decide, should I speak or not?
I mean, look, you're on Adani's payroll clearly. Are you on Adani's payroll? Are you on Adani's payroll?
Arnab,
Answer the
this
question. Why are you
stupid-
defending him?
Arnab, why do you
are
bring
defending
these
him? The
jokers
BJP
here?
is
If
not
somebody is
defending him.
speaking on a
Why are you
Supreme Court
defending
judgment,
him?
that he means he is on the payroll of
No,
somebody.
where is the BJP?
What nonsense
I
is
want
this?
to know why is the BJP not on this
jokers.
program?
If Supreme Court has done a judgment,
the point
we
being
are having a
what- no,
discussion on that
Ajay Dua
judgment.
coming
Why
into
does
the
it have to be
debate.
on somebody's payroll?
Ajay Dua
Are you
coming
on
into the
Hindenburg's
debate.
payroll? Is Rahul Gandhi on whose payroll that he speaks against Adani? What sort of argument is this, Arnab?
Hindenburg should be
Can we have a
investigated.
serious discussion here?
I agree with the
If
Supreme
you-
Court.
Arnab, if
Hindenburg
you want
should be
buffoonery, let him
investigated.
continue. If you want a serious
Why am
discussion, I will make
I
it.
don't hold a brief for Hindenburg.
Arnab, if you want a serious discussion, we need to have it. If you want buffoonery, after a Supreme Court judgment has
no,
come,
we are having-
to
we are
say
having a very-
anybody speaking on the
we are-
judgment is Adani's payroll, that's a different argument altogether. It's a serious judgment of the Supreme Court. So one important point, the most important point of the judgment is, forget
As
Adani
the
for a
Supreme
second.
Court said
So
that
many
the Adani group of
investors,
companies has
small
not committed any
investors,
wrongdoing anywhere in this.
Arnab, can you not shut him, man? We have to make our point. Arnab, the most important part of this judgment, forget Adani for a second. So many small investors in the market lost billions of dollars, and the Supreme Court notes it down that if it was a systematic attempt, the SEBI as well as the investigative agencies have to go into this. George Soros is a person known for ripping nations off, doing Black Tuesdays, Black Fridays, so that he makes profit, which he sits and enjoys and uses it for his own purposes. He attacked the Indian stock market in a systematic manner. There were other global players involved in this attack. The small retailer lost his money. Adani would have held his shares. Price will go up, price will come down. But people whose fortunes have been wiped out, that needs to be investigated. And all those people who were peddling this false agenda on social media, on TV channels, coming up across as experts, they need to be investigated.
Just
But
one
they
minute,
on
no,
the payroll of people trying to rip off the Indian middle class.
I think the
that is what needs to be investigated.
Yeah, I think the moot issue that we are dealing with right now is the moot issue we are dealing with right now, Ajay Dua, is that we are in an extraordinary situation where I believe that there was a concerted attempt to try and stall the Indian economy by creating this hype about an Adani scam, using it to politically torpedo the Modi government in a pre-election year, and regardless of the consequences of the nation, benefit the opposition. This was a clear strategy. Now, where do we stand today, viewers? Viewers, the fact is that in February 2023, this same opposition, Ajay Dua, they stalled the Parliament of India. They did not let Parliament function. They said we only have faith on the Supreme Court and only the Supreme Court should inquire into the Adani case. Today, the Supreme Court, after inquiring, has made it clear that it does not have to scrutinize the Adani issue because the SEBI is competent and doing a great job on the matter. But the Congress had targeted SEBI, saying in August 2023 that the SEBI is doing a bad job. Today, the Supreme Court of India, Ajay Dua, has placed its complete and absolute faith on the investigation of the SEBI by saying on page 44.f under conclusion, and I read, the reliance placed by the petitioner on the OCC PR report to suggest that SEBI is lackadaisical in conducting the investigations is completely rejected, which means Supreme Court is backing SEBI. SEBI has found nothing wrong. Now, I do not know what more can be done. I believe that after this, if the opposition questions and attacks the Supreme Court in this manner, then it would amount to attacking one of the greatest institutions of the country out of simple political frustration. Ajay Dua, I have never seen a situation like this where political parties are now coming down to attacking the Supreme Court. Have you?
I would say today, Arnab, it's been a day of unmitigated success for the institutions of the country. The Supreme Court has upheld that SEBI is doing a good job. Whatever it has done, it has also referred to it, saying that 22 of the 24 investigations or the transactions being looked at, nothing has been found which could be said to point a finger at Mr. Adani and his companies. Having said that, I would say that all that we have seen so far is a lot of dialogue, debate in the country, but it has, as far as till today, it is now looks like all of it was baseless. What happens in future in the two investigations or any other comment which SEBI might make, it has another 3 months to look at various matters. We do not know, but hitherto, I think nothing adverse has been found. And to that extent, everybody who was making a lot of hullabulla about it could be said to be groundless, and the political warfare which we have seen was again looks like without any basis whatsoever, in as far as whether it was a conspiracy.
I think it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, if it was a conspiracy against India, probably that will need to be established. But certainly the researcher, Hindenburg, is also in the stock market, keeps shorting. So for him, he may have done it absolutely deliberately with a motive, and that is what Supreme Court has talked about, that let that matter be also investigated.
Now, that is the moot point we need to look at tonight. Vivek Silas, Abhishek, as well as Vivek Srivastav, Ishkaran. The real issue tonight, viewers, is this. A lie was put out, and it is clear to everyone that it was a big lie about an Adani scam. Based upon that lie, Hindenburg, which is a short seller, along with some of its affiliates and partners, made a lot of money. So it was a double whammy for them. They made a lot of money, and a very determined foreign-based attempt was made to attack the Indian economy. The Indian economy is strong, it survived, but some people made a lot of money. I'm not saying you made money, Vivek, or you made money, Abhishek, or Vivek Silas. But it is clear that people with political intentions, angles, and affiliations made some money. Now, maybe those people are not in power now. Maybe those people are not getting those hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes in their Swiss bank accounts. Maybe this was a new way of theirs to associate with Hindenburg to make money. But can there be anything more cheap? Can there be anything more cheap than joining hands with the 94-year-old failed and frustrated Soros to destroy your own country's fundamentals? Vivek Silas, those people must be put in jail. There has to be, as Mukul Rohatgi rightly said.
I read the Supreme Court judgment. I am a disappointed man, no doubt.
No, you may be disappointed, but who made the money? But who made the money by lying to the people of India? How much money was made, Vivek Silas? how much money was made?
Nobody lied. SEBI
You
has
tried to
has
short
made
the
amendments
Indian
to the
economy.
rules,
How much money
it
was
opaque
made?
for people to
How
know
much
and-
money was
and
made?
trace out things.
What went into private accounts? No, did some individuals, did some politicians and politically linked people make money via Hindenburg? Did they make money? Because the Supreme Court is saying that should be investigated.
You should ask,
and people
you should
must
ask
be
the
identified.
Adanis and question them
Vivek,
about the
that's
kind
the
of
real
funding they
story.
do to the BJP for the elections. I
That's
think
the
that
real
should
no,
be
no,
the agenda, and
no,
that is
no,
what
no.
needs to be probed.
No, no, no.
Arnab, just 1 second.
I think that is what should be probed. The Prime
No, no,
Minister.
I'd like to get in
Open on
Vivek
Adani,
Silas and then I'll come
wanted
to you.
Okay, let me respond.
Vivek Silas.
I'll just take 10 seconds. Hi, very good evening, Arnab. I think although the Supreme Court has backed the government and allowed the SEBI to investigate, still it's not, the Supreme Court has not, or the SEBI has not given a clean chip to Mr. Goswami Adani Group. I think you should agree on that. You know, and the Honorable Prime Minister also never openly commented or discussed on Gautam Adani very transparently. I think it's quite unfortunate. I don't know what will be the outcome at the end, because one of your fellow panelists, the senior gentleman sitting with us, I've forgotten the name, he said what happens in future is still unknown. So we are unaware what's going to happen in future. It's unfortunate that the demand for the SIT that or the JPC that we were carrying out from the government to do, but it has been rejected by the Supreme Court. But the international agencies are still discussing, accusing or investigating on that. Let's see what comes in future and how much money, who made, how do I know who made? So I think it's a matter of investigation. I think, Arnab, you should investigate as to who and how the money was made and how come, who made money, you know. I am just unaware. I think this is a very illogical question that you have asked me, that who made money in this deal. I think it should be investigated.
No, I think it's a very relevant question. I'll explain why, Vivek. Because you see, Mahua Moitra, she was getting paid by these people, this what is this Bombay-based group, the Hiranandani group, to ask questions against Adani. So she made money. So maybe there are other people like Mahua Moitra who were part of the whole business of shorting the Indian economy, right? Because money was made. Now you do realize the flap that you are in. No, you do realize, Vivek, the flap that you guys are in. You were making the allegations at that time, and now it has been found that you were the people, you as in all you guys, you were the people who were making money in association with Hindenburg in a deep and dangerous conspiracy to topple the Indian economy. That is clear to me. I mean, you ask Sumit Agarwal, read through it, and don't expect me to give you any long rope in this, because
nexus in this nation, and BJP is a big part of it.
The
so will you apologize now that it has been found that you were wrong or lied?
Election campaigns, money in surplus, and that needs to be talked off. So there is nothing wrong if I question the Adanis or anybody else.
And
you have to do it. You have to
nexus in this
case, and I think this is not going to stop here.
Arnab,
this is not going to stop here.
The political nexus in this case appears to be on the other side. To make money by sinking the Indian economy is also a political nexus. It is not only Adani who can make money by politics. In the attempt to sink Adani, hundreds of billions of dollars to sink that is also by short selling how you make money. So the political nexus or the ecosystem nexus could well be to make hundreds of billions by trying to sink the Indian economy. And US Homeland Security says an attack on the stock market or an attack to derail the economy is a terror attack. These are terror attacks on the Indian economy.
No, absolutely not.
And is it true or not?
To investigate.
Is it one minute? At the same time, if we are to talk of the past record of individuals, Vivek Srivastav, is it not true, Sumit? Is it not true, Sumit, that George Soros is the same man who made his first big, almost billion-dollar fortune betting against the Bank of England? So he shorts, he bets against countries, he bets against other countries' banks, and he makes a lot of money on that. It's only because India is not equal the Bank of England that we have survived this. But I would request all right-thinking citizens to demand a deep investigations against the people who carried out a conspiracy against their own country. And Vivek Srivastava, even if it is you, you will not be spared.
No,
there are some Vibhishans in India. There are some Jaychands in
I
India.
want you to see
There are some Mir Jafars in India who sitting in India are working to bring down our country's
Everybody
economy.
knows. I mean, there are so many,
Sumit
many
Agarwal.
photo-ops, there are so many videos coming out where the Prime Minister is so informal
Arnab,
with the Adani.
in this matter,
and you know, I mean, so many things coming up against the Adani group. People are raising questions.
Anybody can allege things against anyone.
What is wrong in it?
Let's see what Supreme Court has said.
Why should I not question Mr. Adani?
Let's see what Supreme Court has said.
Clean. It is my democratic
Let's
right
read
as a
para
citizen.
58 of the order. Supreme Court, well, listen, all of us need to just know one thing, that today the question is not about who made money, but the question really is, if the investors lost money, because of whom the investors lost money. And if we were to read the para 58 of the order, Supreme Court has given a conclusive finding there, where Supreme Court has held that the investors lost money. The cause is the short selling done by Hindenburg and other concerted entities. And that's where Supreme Court has said that not only SEBI, but the other agencies of the government of India needs to probe this aspect. So today, the inquiry needs to be how investors lost money and whether this entire scam was per se a scam or whether it was the con done by Hindenburg and their concerted entities. Let's also not forget that it was the Adani group who had to cancel their FPO.
We wanted to know that is it possible for a few capitalists past to be actually propping up the Indian government by funding them, you know, and taking favors. And there's nothing wrong. If by
Vivek,
chance
being louder will not
crash,
make you correct
then
today.
it's a different issue. They are two unrelated
Vivek,
things.
I'll have to
and you cannot just combine them and say Indian economy ka hamla ho gaya.
Vivek,
this is irrational.
Vivek,
if you see that something
Vivek, let me
wrong is
explain
possible
what's
in
going
Indian
on. One minute,
democracy,
one minute. Vivek, just 1 minute here. 1 minute. Vivek, 1 minute. Vivek, listen to me. 1 minute. Vivek, listen. Ishkaran, 1 minute. Give me a moment, Ishkaran. Give me a moment. Let me explain it this way, viewers. You hear of these big names. OCCPRF has found that Adani carried out a scam. Helsinki-based NTFCDA has found that Adani has carried out a scam. Madrid-based Global Center of Anti-Corruption Investigation Organization, Umbrella Wing, has found that Adani has carried out a scam. Today, if in his garage, Abhishek Sudhir starts a group and calls it World Center of Fiduciary Responsibility Organizations for Global Accountability, and he gives it an acronym, and he releases a report saying there is a scam in Sweden, right? There is no way in which someone in Sweden can come and find out whether Abhishek is running this out of his garage. That is how stupid it is. That's why,
you're contradicting yourself. You're
Vivek,
contradicting
Abhishek
yourself.
and Vivek
Either
Silas,
Soros is
allow
an
me to
important
complete.
man or he's
That
not
is
an
why you
important
guys.
man.
No,
He cannot be both as per your convenience.
Just 1 minute.
Either Soros is important or he's not important. Either he's strong or he's not strong. He cannot be both.
1 minute. I am very happy. I am very happy tonight. I am extremely happy. I am super delighted that the Supreme Court has seen through it, because in page number 44, point number F, part G, Ajay Dua, the Supreme Court says, the reliance placed by the petitioner on the OCCCPR report to suggest that SEBI is lackadaisical in conducting an investigation is rejected. A report by a third-party organization without any attempt to verify the authenticity of its allegations cannot be regarded as conclusive proof. This is as simple as it can be. You can make any allegation, Baba. You can sit in some garage in your house. You know, you can sit in a Barsati in Southex and say that you are running a global center for anti-corruption. You are fronting for certain vested interests, and you cannot expect your so-called findings to be treated as conclusive proof.
I have a right to question
You've been called out.
If I feel that something
Ajay Dua, no, you've been called out.
I have to raise an issue.
Apologize.
If I feel
Apologize
that
now.
the businessman politician nexus, I have
Apologize
a right to
now.
questions. And if the market
Apologize now. If you feel it's your problem, Baba.
Economy, as per what Mr.
If you feel it's your personal problem, Vivek, 1 minute. Ajay Dua, this is what is coming down
It's
to.
the problem of the nation.
No.
All opposition parties have raised it.
Ajay Dua, who is the nation's name? You people don't even believe that he has a nation.
This is not an ordinary attack. It is an economic attack on India, and US would call such an attack a terror attack. If you try to do this in their economy by creating a garage report and getting an entire
no economic
ecosystem
attack.
media
We were
behind
just
it
trying to find out if the Honorable
Gentlemen, I have been called
or
to-
the government is going out of the way
That is
to
how
protect a
modern warfare
particular
occurs.
gentleman
Unfortunately,
simply because
communists
he's
were in
benefiting
China
the
in
party.
62 and they are
A
doing the
particular
same thing
party
right
to
now.
remain in power. And the opposition
Why
has got a right
don't you
to raise
admit
some
and
issues.
at least have
I'm
the
calling-
courtesy to apologize to the people of this great nation that you sunk their money?
I'd
This
like
is a
to
great nation indeed,
only
and to
say
protect the nation,
that
questions have to be asked.
conclusion.
And the opposition must be active and must ask questions. And we have a right to question Mr. Adani.
Gentlemen,
and we
can
have a
I-
right to
can
question
I-
what is the relationship
Ajay
between
Dua.
Mr. Adani and the party which is in power. Is there a financial nexus? Are favors being given?
The
Are
nexus
contracts
Ajay
being
Dua.
given out of order?
The nexus
The
is
question
what
is,
trying to do
gentlemen,
selling in your ecosystem. That is the nexus.
think the question-
People who are
please,
vultures and trying
please.
to make money by killing the Indian stock market. Those are the political nexus we have to investigate, and that's what.
Okay,
the
let
serious
Ajay Dua
Supreme
take that.
Court judgment says. Investigate
Ishkaran, let
that
Ajay Dua take that, please. Let
all
Ajay
that
Dua
I-
take that, please, gentlemen. 3 versus 3.
All
Ajay
that
Dua.
I'd like to say is that the conclusion which the Supreme Court has come to about independent third parties making their comments or saying they've inquired is absolutely with a basis. It has a foundation. It is not a statement made up in the air. Fact is that the very P against this name, OCCP, P stands for a project. That means an assignment was given to someone or somebody took up an exercise to find out what's happening in the Adani matter. The Supreme Court, certainly the apex court of the country, cannot give more credence to such a report than to that of the SEBI itself. So all that it has said is
but the
we do
report
not
should be
go
probed.
by
The report should
yes.
be probed. If
And
there is
the
a
probe
report,
is
it should
going
be
on.
probed. If there is an
See, the
allegation,
probe
it should
is
be
not
probed.
over. That I agree. But the question is, in 22 of the 24 transactions or investigations, the Supreme Court has gone to the extent of saying that SEBI has found nothing adverse. So all that we are saying today, gentlemen, is that so far nothing
Yes, but
adverse
SEBI
has
is more
been
opaque
found
today,
out
and it is not
by
as
SEBI
transparent after
or anyone.
amendments as it used
What
to be.
happens in the future, I am not saying that the other
No,
two
the
will
only
also
the only straw, Mr. Dua, the only straw that the opposition is clutching to right now isn't saying that the SEBI has not completed its report, to which my response is the SEBI has completed 22 of the 24 points, almost 90%, and found nothing against Adani. My question will be to you, Abhishek, that should the SEBI complete 24 out of 24 and find nothing against Adani, at least then, would you admit that this was a made-up story? At least then, if you're a lawyer, you have to respect the legal process of the highest court of the country. If SEBI finds nothing in 24 of them.
I'd just like to
Yes,
say
then.
as a lawyer, that the fact of the matter is that we are talking of, as of now, nothing adverse, and the court has said that the matter that somebody was trying to...
Correct. No, my question is to
the Indian
Abhishek.
economy.
Ajay, my question is to Abhishek. My question is to Abhishek that we have to have some finality in this matter. It cannot be stretched forever. If Supreme Court says SEBI has full authority and SEBI says we found nothing, then there is no straw to clutch on to anymore.
I will, as a lawyer, just explain to you in 2 sentences what the Supreme Court has done. They have simply said we are not going to transfer this case to any special investigative team. There is no requirement. We have full faith in SEBI. We're not going to rely on Hindenburg or CCPR. Once SEBI completes its investigation, the lawyer in me would then approach the Supreme Court to challenge the findings of SEBI if there are any grounds to challenge it. So this matter is far from done. Politically, the damage has been done, Mr. Goswami. That is the big story.
No, the point.
Politically,
Okay, exactly my point. Exactly. No. 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
You're allowed
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
Listen to you,
1
you
minute.
allow me
On
to
this point, this is what I call a classic example of shoot and damn Scoot. And I'll tell you why. Let me complete. How many lies? Rafale deal. Chokidar chor hai. Supreme Court gave a clean chit to the Rafale deal on all the three issues, on decision making, comparative pricing, on choice of Indian offset partners. You lied. Pegasus case. 1 minute. Pegasus. You said national security concerns, right? What did the Supreme Court do? Supreme Court said we put a technical expert committee. We found nothing about Pegasus, any of the mobile phones. And no, it was decided. Now they say. And now they say tonight, because they know I've caught them red-handed on my program. They say we won't listen to the Supreme Court. We'll go to the Court of Public Opinion. And you know what the Court of Public Opinion is going to say? It's going to say we respect the Supreme of the country. We are not like you. Judge Loya case, you lied. Supreme Court dismissed your petitions. EVM issue, you lied. The Supreme Court dismissed the petition. Adani case, you lied. The Supreme Court has dismissed the petition. You ought to have something called decency. Out of decency, if nothing else, Vivek Silas, Vivek Srivastav and Abhishek Sudhir, out of decency, hang your head in shame and say, sorry, we lied. We lied.
Upstanding corporate czar that you say
answer my question.
Why is the BJP not defending Adani? Why is the Prime Minister no longer seen with Adani? Why is it Adani's persona non grata at Vibrant Gujarat?
Who says Adani's
persona non grata? Will
grata?
Gautam Adani be seen at Vibrant Gujarat this month? The summit that he started with the Prime Minister. The summit that he started with the Prime Minister.
I don't think Adani's persona non grata. I don't think Adani's persona non grata. Today, in fact, Karan Adani was meeting the newly elected Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. Gautam Adani, come on. No, you don't understand. What in cahoots? Everybody is doing business with Adani. Everybody is doing business with Adani. Your Congress is doing business with Adani. Aam Aadmi Party is doing business with Adani. Bhagwant Mann is doing business with Adani. And the Supreme Court has given it a clean chit. So why are you frustrated?
But citizens
why are you frustrated?
Citizens can ask questions.
Citizens can. But what
happens?
What happens with the?
It is about a monopoly.
Don't show.
You want to hand over the keys to the castle?
This is not Shaheen Bagh.
You want to have the keys to the castle to an Ambani and an Adani?
For you, it may be a castle. I know you want to break the castle.
Do you want to be
I know you look upon the country's treasury as a castle. You want to rob the country's treasury. You want to rob the country.
You want Adani
to rob the country.
Right? This
you want to rob the country.
Let there be a level playing field. Stop favoring one industrialist over everyone else.
The Supreme Court said you were wrong.
That is the real issue.
The Supreme Court said you lied.
Which you will not talk about.
The Supreme Court said you have no basis.
You will not talk about
The Supreme Court feels there nothing.
This is about monopolies. This is about crony capitalism. This is about the little guy not having a chance in this country.
Yeah, who's the little guy?
Who is the little guy? The little businesses.
Rahul Gandhi is the little guy.
Adani controls ports. He controls airports. Right? Jio controls retail. They control streaming.
Sharad Pawar is working with Adani. Revant Reddy is working with Adani. Mamata Banerjee was meeting Adani. Now you explain this.
Of course they meet Adani. They need investment into the state.
And Mahua Maitra made money from working with Adani.
Has done more damage than anyone can. She has taken.
So then the fact of matter is your corner.
I'm a citizen. I'm telling you, Mahua Maitra's misdemeanors have damaged the credibility of the
Mahua Maitra has no credibility.
No, she's damaged it.
She's been stalking some ex-boyfriend's girlfriend and things like that. Shallow person. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer a complicated case. In less than 3 months, SEBI has to close the inquiry on Adani. So far, it's found nothing. If they find nothing in the next 3 months, at least then, before the general elections, will you make up your mind on who lied? Does it determine your vote? On the other side tonight, viewers, Kejriwal says, I'm just not going to go to the ED. Avoids the third summons. Does that mean he'll have a non-bailable warrant against him? And if that happens, what next? In a few minutes, I'll tell you exactly what will happen.